Thanks for watching Lessons in Minutes with Jaylee. Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.
So guys, the examination body CHC has presented us with the broad topics for 2022 May-June C-Sec and CAPE examinations. What I'll be doing is to break down those broad topics as it relates to Accounting Unit 2 so that you're better prepared for your exam. And I'll begin with Module 1. Now, the first topic is nature and scope of cost and management accounting. What do you need to zero in on? You need to ensure that you know the importance and role of management accounting. Also, the role of cost accounting in manufacturing and service industries. And tell you what, people, you need to be able to differentiate between cost accounting and management accounting because it could be asked to differentiate between the two, to distinguish between those two. Now, we'll move into the other topic, which is cost classification, and this is from Module 1 as well. And how do you prepare yourself for cost classification? You need to ensure that you know how to value inventory. Also, you need to be able to relate to making decisions. And in terms of decision making, you have relevant and irrelevant costs. But for relevant cost people, you need to be able to make some decisions based on probably a scenario or a case study that is given. And these decisions may be related to making or buying products for distribution to your customers. Another is basically adding or dropping processes. Should the business add something to their product line, or should they get rid of something? Should they contribute that with a department, or should they drop a department, etc.? Another decision that you may be asked to make based on the scenario or the case that is given is to accept or reject special order. So in this area, people, you basically will be required to apply some concepts in making these decisions. Now, we're going to continue looking at cost classification because yes, we have other areas relating to it, and that is planning and control. And in terms of planning and control, you need to ensure that you know controllable and non-controllable costs, planned costs, and actual costs. You also need to focus on fixed, variable, and mixed costs. You need to be able to identify those. The next topic that you need to ensure that you focus on is cost curves. You may be given some curves and you're asked to identify the type of curve. You may be given a scenario and you're asked to draw the curve relating to it, etc. So you'll never tell how this question may be presented. But in preparation for that, you need to know the following curves, and these are variable cost curves, fixed cost curves, total cost curve, step fixed cost curve, step variable cost curve, and we have mixed cost curve. Okay, so you should know the difference between or among these curves. You should be able to draw the curves. You should be able to identify the curve, etc. All right. Now, another topic is overhead costs. And again, that is we're still in module 1. And for that, we have types of overhead expenses. You should be able to identify those or probably even calculate the various types of overhead expenses. You need to know fixed and semi-fixed overhead expenses, right? And also to differentiate between the two. Your next focus is apportionment of overheads. You need to be able to apportion overheads following that basis of the apportionment of costs. And in terms of apportioning costs, people, we have different cost drivers, right? So you need to ensure you prepare yourself for that area. You should be able to calculate predetermined recovery rates using the cost drivers, for example, machine hours, direct labor hours, or direct labor costs. All right, so those are examples of cost drivers. And tell you what, you need to know service cost allocation. And in terms of service cost allocation, you need to know to apply these methods such as direct method, reciprocal method, step down, and repeated distribution method. For step down and repeated distribution, that is limited to 2 steps. So you should be able to carry out 2 steps. All right. So remember, you need to practice in allocating service costs using direct, reciprocal, step down, repeated distribution method. And should you need any lesson on this, I'll post a link in the description for you. Okay. So check the description for that link relating to allocation of service costs. You'll also see other links there that can aid you in preparing for your examination. And that basically takes us to the end of module 1. For module 2, the areas of focus are 1, job costing. And for job costing, people, you need to know the characteristics of job costing, including batch production. You need to be able to prepare job cost sheets, do the flow of costs, evaluation of work in progress, calculating prime costs and factory overheads, also predetermine overhead rates. You find that this is in this as well. Earlier, I looked at it in overhead costs in module 1. And also, you should be able to identify whether or not an overhead is over or under absorbed. And in that case, you should be able to determine the value at which it is over or it is under absorbed, and that is the overhead. All right. Now, let's continue. And we're looking at activity-based costing. Yes, that is a part of module 2. We're talking about ABC. So you should know your ABC, people. Now, for the ABC, you should be able to compare and contrast ABC with traditional costing. So definitely you need to review traditional costing as well, even though it was not listed as one of those major topics, but it is linked to carrying out the concept for activity-based costing. So you should be able to compare the two. All right. Another area is you should be able to compute unit costs using ABC, which is activity-based costing. And definitely you should be able to calculate activity rates using a number of different cost drivers. And examples of cost drivers are machine hours, direct labor costs, etc. All right. Also, you should be able to calculate activity rates. All right. And in calculating activity rates, definitely you'll be using as well predetermined overhead rates in this section too. So you find that one concept from one area overflows into another. So you're transferring the concept. Now we're at marginal costing and absorption costing, still in module 2. And for marginal and absorption costing, you need to prepare yourself in knowing the marginal costing techniques. So you should be able to apply that, as well as applying absorption costing techniques. And for this area, you should be able to prepare income statements under marginal and absorption costing, as well as you should be able to do a statement reconciling the net income computed under the marginal costing and absorption costing. So if you are given absorption costing, you should be able to reconcile with the marginal costing and vice versa. Okay, now we are into module 3. And for module 3, we have 2 broad areas. And the first one that I'll be looking at is cost volume profit analysis. And within cost volume profit analysis, you need to ensure that you know your break-even formula. You need to ensure that you know how to calculate break-even points in units and dollars. You need to know to calculate break-even points. And remember, you need to know to do it in units and dollars, right? You need to know to calculate contribution margin, margin of safety, and target profit. So basically, when it comes on to cost volume profit analysis, you need to know how to compute contribution margin, break-even point, margin of safety, and you should be able to use target profit in break-even formula. All right, so that covers cost, volume, profit analysis, and we're on to budgeting. And for budgeting, people, you need to ensure that you know the objectives of budgeting. And the objectives of budgeting basically are the importance of budgeting. Why is it that a business needs to do budgets or budgets? You need to know the role of the budget committee. You need to know budgetary control. And also, you need to be able to prepare master budget. Now, as it relates to master budget, people, you need to know how to prepare cash budget and the supporting schedules. In terms of the supporting schedule, we're talking about things like the cash collection schedule and schedule of disbursement. Now, if it is that you need lesson on budgeting, definitely that link is in the description below for you as well. Another key aspect of the master budget that you need to be able to prepare is purchases budget. Also, sales budget, and we have production budget. And again, the links to these lessons are in the description below. Okay, and that basically takes us to the end of module 3, which is the end of the broad topics presented by CXC. And from this list that you're seeing, I want you to pick out something that really speaks to you and something that will drive you into maintaining your focus as it relates to your examination. Be it that you say to yourself that I can do it. You are to keep moving, continue preparing for the exam. Be fearless, people. Be fearless. Another one is that you need to stay positive. What about staying positive? And guess what? While you are at that, don't give up. All right? And smile and shine on. And this big one, have faith in yourself, because quite a number of you, when you see the topics, you're saying, I just give up. I just can't go any further, you know? So I want you to stay positive, all right? And there are others. And as you go along, just inspire those people that are actually saying to you that they're not going to write the exam, they don't think they're ready, etc. Aid those along the way as you go. And once you aid, then definitely you're basically preparing yourself for your examination. So guess what? All the best in your exam, people, and just walk in and walk out with that grade 1. You can get a grade 2 as well, but don't try to say that you're going to get a grade 3, because you may just fall right at grade 4. So you're striving for the highest score that you can get.
Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.